Bibliophiles of the internet, my name's Adriana, and today I'm here to give you 5 good reasons as to why you should read Let's Talk About Love by Claire Kann. Quick synopsis, this story is about a working college student named Alice who is black, asexual, and biromantic. She was recently dumped after coming out to her now ex-girlfriend as ace, and that ex basically concluded that dating an ace person was pointless. While Alice tries to go on with her life, working at the library as always, she's thrown for a loop when she gets a new coworker named Takumi who makes her feel all sorts of confusing things. She has to ask herself if taking a chance on romance is worth it and whether Takumi will still be cool with her once she tells him that she's ace. This book is incredible, magical, feel-good, and it takes queer upliftings to new heights. It is a must-read for the following reasons. Number 1, the story comprehensively breaks down and calls out acephobia for what it is. Not only do you get a clear definition of what asexuality means to Alice, but right in the first chapter, her ex basically goes through every acephobic misconception you could possibly have. Alice is told in no uncertain terms that her love, her companionship, her personhood is less just because she doesn't want to engage in sex, and you see how much that hurts and how often she has to internalize that. Even though I don't identify the same way Alice does, as an aromantic person, I strongly related to her fears and self-doubt, mostly because even though aromanticism and asexuality are two fundamentally separate attraction levels, there's a lot of the same isolation, loneliness, and negative stigma that surrounds both. So when Alice talks about how coming out over and over again is exhausting and how unfair it is that the impetus to educate others falls on our shoulders because visibility is not a thing that exists, and how when you say aromantic or in her case asexual, people just don't know what that means, I feel that. She puts up barriers. She thinks not twice but 100 times before deciding to engage in romantic relationships, and understandably so, because people wanting to fix her or leave her is a legitimate fear. You see her working through people insisting that she's broken, unnatural, or misguided, and working to a place where she realizes that it's all nonsense and she is worthy of love the way she is. Number 2, you get to see an incredible biromantic ace character of color not only thriving but receiving and providing satisfaction through non-sexual pillars in her life. I always explain my aromanticism through the concept of pillars. We all have different pillars or tenets in our lives that take precedence and bring us a personal sense of fulfillment. For some people, they can be things like family, work, hobbies, education, religion, community, any number of things. And for some people, romantic love or sexual fulfillment are in the mix, and for others, they aren't. And every possible combination is okay. Alice is a fully realized, completely fulfilled human whose life is full and healthy because she siphons satisfaction from other totally valid areas of her life. You see her being passionate about television and fandom, writing analytical essays about her favorite characters, being a librarian, designing and organizing personal spaces, prioritizing her friends, and devoting herself to making sure they feel loved and safe. There's a very clear distinction that asexuality is not the equivalent of being dispassionate. It doesn't mean you're not fully connected to the people in your life. It doesn't mean that you don't care about them or don't experience desire, and more importantly, your life is not any less. Number 3, therapy is normalized in this narrative. Like I said, meeting Takumi and being instantly attracted to him is very confusing for Alice. All of a sudden she feels things she's never felt before and her body is responding in different ways, and she realizes that it would be beneficial for her own well-being if she could talk to someone about the nuances of her own identity and how this attraction fits into her understanding of herself. First of all, her therapist makes a clear distinction between attraction and arousal, which I think is a very helpful idea to internalize, especially if asexuality is a new concept in your life. More importantly, it's just wonderful to see a good representation of therapy, which is heavily stigmatized itself. Here you have a character who isn't necessarily struggling with mental health, who doesn't experience depression, anxiety, or any other quantifiable condition. She just wants someone to listen, someone to bounce her ideas off of, and that's okay. There's a great many reasons why anyone would want to make therapy a part of their life. Also, when Alice wants to share something she took away from therapy, her friends aren't like, "Oh my god, I didn't realize anything was wrong with you." They're just like, "Yeah, that makes sense." Alice also doesn't expect her therapist to have all the answers, and she realizes that she can disagree or even disregard pieces of what he offers because ultimately she only has to take away what's useful for her life. It's an overwhelmingly positive experience for her. It's not something that's remarkable or shameful, and it's absolutely normalized throughout the book. Number 4, a biromantic ace woman of color gets her happily ever after, and there's no catch. I think for queer people especially, there's this idea that you have to earn your own happiness. You have to go through some shit, you have to suffer, and then by the end of it all, you will deserve happiness. You may still not even get happiness. That is the popular narrative that has been regurgitated countless times. Now, I don't want to imply that Alice doesn't go through things. She does. She makes mistakes, she gets hurt, she hurts others, she experiences a lot of confusion and misconceptions, but it's not queer trauma porn that's meant to make Alice cishet people feel better about their lives. From the very beginning, Alice knows exactly who she is, what she likes, what she cares about, and she knows she is worthy of happiness, and it is so satisfying to see her fall into this relationship that is so pure and brimming with love. Throughout the story, you just see her and Takumi taking comfort in each other's presence, cuddling and watching TV and movies, eating together, talking, just sharing space. It's so gratifying to see this intense level of friendship, flirtation, and understanding blossom between these two characters. And number 5, this is a much needed instance of positive and validating ace representation in fiction. I actually shed tears when Alice and Takumi got together, just hearing him tell her that she does make him feel wanted, desired, loved, and fulfilled, even if it's in a way he's never experienced before. Just broke me. It's something I think I've always needed to hear, something that so many people are still waiting to hear. Do you know what it's like to see an ace character feeling happy, accepted, loved, valued, safe, and most importantly, understood? Because if you don't, that in itself is a damn good reason to read this book. Bonus, the romance is centered on an interracial couple, and both of those people are marginalized. Especially in America, when you say interracial couple, the prevalent idea is still that one person is black and the other person is white. In this case, neither character belongs to the dominant group, which is always subsequently the group that is most widely known, seen, and understood. So both of these characters, in fact, are faced with a learning curve. I like that aspect because it makes Alice's asexuality just another part of that learning curve. It's not just like a struggle for Alice to find a partner who accepts that she's ace, but both of these characters have to accept every part of the other person. They both have things to learn, which is great. So there you have it, a handful of good reasons as to why you need this book in your life. If you've also read this one or would now like to read it, please feel free to sound off in the comments below. But that is everything I had for this recommendation/review today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I will catch you on the flip side of the page. Bye!